Well, thank you for that very kind introduction. And I'm impressed that there's so many left here today. So thank you for sticking around. I'm very excited to be here today to talk about my world at First International Bank and Trust, namely energy and finance, and of course, full service mineral management, our flagship, if you will, of our Mineral and Land Services Department. I got this, right? Presentation outline for you today. A little bit about our story at first, then I'm going to go into why is mineral management important, and of course, why at a bank. And then I'm going to go into our innovative technology, Mineral Tracker, a crucial aspect of keeping our services affordable. And then I'm going to touch briefly on resource-based lending. So, our story, when we're doing this. FIBT is certainly not new to the energy industry. It is headquartered in Watford City, North Dakota, and it was founded in McKenzie County over 100 years ago. FIBT has had a traditional trust department for years, and through that department, trust officers handle mineral trust and some mineral agent relationship. I joined the bank in 2019. We wanted to elevate our status as an oil and gas bank, becoming the premier oil and gas bank. When I came, I had a vision of creating a team with the broad skill set we see at a typical oil and gas company. We all know this is an extremely complicated and complex industry, and I knew getting the right people on board would be crucial in achieving this. If we're first going to do this, we wanted to do it right. We also already had a mineral software in place, actually one of the better ones at the market at the time, at least then. However, I quickly saw they would not provide me the information that I wanted or needed. There must be a better way of organizing this. So I reached out to Joel around Christmas time, and our conversations quickly started to escalate. We had worked together in the past and knew each other's capabilities well. We started talking about all the possibilities we could see by merging our expertise while at financial institution, and the rest is history. We acquired Mineral Tracker on July 1st, 2020. Luckily, we have a very supportive executive team who has always cheered us on from the get-go and given us a lot of room to come with these big ideas. Mineral Tracker being one of them, of course. I do think we are the only bank that has our own mineral management software, and of course now that we moved into resource-based lending too. So why am I up here today talking about mineral management? Why is mineral management important, and why should it matter to you? Well, in an average year, we estimate about $3 billion in royalties in North Dakota. That is an incredible value and a staggering amount. Mineral owners have questions that deserve to be answered. I've certainly seen that in my background. There's much confusion and uncertainty, both when it comes to ownership. What is happening with my minerals? What are my rights? Is anyone ever going to drill on my property? And of course, the big one. Am I being paid correctly? And am I being paid for everything I own? I would venture to say that the vast majority of mineral owners have at least at one point asked themselves one of these questions. And there are really nowhere to go for these owners. Sure, it can go to a law firm to have a legal question answered, or it can go to a landman to have a title run. But there was a void in the marketplace, nowhere where you can have access to a broad team of experts who could help you navigate all of these questions. Mineral and royalty owners deserve to have a place to go that provides unparalleled service through diligent management, innovative technology, and goal-oriented strategies. This benefits all parties involved. Working together always makes the best outcome. For example, suspended funds. Over the last year, a little bit less than a year actually, we have recovered over $1.3 million in suspended funds for our clients. In addition, we have identified an additional $1 million we are currently in the process of having released. And I do want to make a big point here. Generally, oil companies does not hold money in suspense or pay incorrectly because they're bad actors. They generally do not want money in suspense more than you do. However, a single well may have hundreds of owners. At the end of the day, the responsibility lies with the mineral owner. They are, after all, a small fish in a very big pond. It's all about understanding the issues and getting the dialogue going. Companies don't always have the right information, and they're not always the easiest to get a hold of. And how do you get issues resolved if you don't even know what your issue is, who to ask, or what to ask for? I know from my previous career that it was always a welcome relief when owners had attorneys or other professionals helping them out. Someone who could be dedicated their time and drive the conversation and drive the solution. However, this actually rarely happens. Evening the playing field benefits all parties, and better management on one side results in better management on the other side. So, what does mineral management mean? Well, as you can see up here, I have handling the complex and time-consuming functional responsibilities of asset management. Two key words here, complex and time-consuming. I think we all can agree that these two words perfectly describes handling oil and gas rights. It is not just mailbox money. The vast majority of mineral owners have busy lives and works besides owning minerals. Who really has the ability to devote the kind of time minerals demand and require? Well, there's a reason why this is my full-time job, and the reason why we have a whole team doing this every day for you. It takes a lot of time and can be incredibly stressful. In fact, I believe that is the word I hear the most when people seek us out. They have this great legacy and often great financial freedom. However, they almost feel guilty telling me that they're very stressed about this. How do I understand what I own, and how can I get this organized so I can easily hand this over to the next generation? Mineral management means that you will get the freedom to take your time back, to spend your time the way you want to, whether that's with your family or other projects. What should you expect when having your minerals managed? Diligent management includes consolidation in one centralized location. Documents, leases, well list, asset list, revenue statements, just to name a few, in one place. Revenue deposits. Revenue will come directly to us. We account for and track your income and expenses relating to your interest, and distribution will be done according to your wishes. Revenue tracking and verification. Compare income to projected well performance and revenue forecasting, so you can budget accordingly and make future plans. And of course, suspended funds. Help identify and resolve title requirements and unclaimed property funds. Unclaimed property funds is actually one of the bigger things we deal with on a daily basis too. And you will have deductions. Deductions I added there here just because it's come more and more in focus over the last year. Ensuring deductions fall within our expected range and in accordance with your lease terms. And you will have a relationship manager. We act as a liaison between you and the oil companies. We took over the correspondence with the companies and other third parties. And you have tax assistance. We verify and organize your 1099s and other tax documents, and we will work directly with your accountant. And of course, you will have somebody understanding your asset. Somebody to call with questions or concern. And I've seen this especially important over the last year. And of course, also our out-of-state mineral clients. We have had, of course, as we all know, a downturn. The oil price went negative. We've had some political instabilities and also DAPL. You have somebody who understands your concern and how it applies to you and how it will impact you. Most of our clients don't really want us to have this magic 8-ball to give them the answers. They just want somebody who call and somebody they can discuss their concerns with. With that, we'll have current market conditions and market updates, and we will track and map development. And of course, election advice. This is more for our working interest owners. Can get advice regarding their elections, going non-consent, and if they're going to go non-consent or consent to a well, and their financial implications of that. And if you have an unleased interest, maybe it would be beneficial to not lease it and actually try out being a working interest owner. And then, of course, why at a bank? Why was the bank setting so exciting for us? Why did we really want to join a financial institution? And why didn't we really just establish our own company? Full service is the key here. The idea was to create a mineral management group that could address every need of a mineral or royalty owner, whether you're a private owner or a professional entity. We got excited about the endless possibilities of combining highly skilled oil and gas team with the flexibility and resources of a financial institution. Before this, mineral owners had to bounce around to different service providers to find answers to all of their needs. We wanted to create a one-stop shop, access to everything under one roof. That includes check deposits. We can link your accounts, your bank accounts. We can make internal transfers and wire transfer. We'll make life easier for everyone. And trust and estate planning through our trust department. We can step in as trustee if that is something you wish. And of course, a big one, asset diversification and wealth management. How can we help you transform your legacy into generational wealth rather than a depleting asset? We can give strategies to ensure long-term wealth, strengthen and lengthen your cash flow. Several of our clients are set up with the investing part of their monthly royalty income. For example, you can do 20% of your royalty income every month will push over to investments. You can come in, you can visit me, discuss your mineral interest in my office, and go over to the next office and discuss your investment. And of course, financing and financial resources. Especially in the professional space, you can get financial services and assistance at the same place you get your consulting services, appraisal, and of course, your mineral management software. They all tie together. You don't have to retell your story. It gives you more time back to live first. So full service. Our additional services grew very organically out of our clients' needs and what we saw in the market. First of all, appraisals and evaluations. This is something I wanted to include right away. This is why I reached out to Joel. We wanted to have a petroleum engineer on staff. We felt that was crucial to establish the team we have. What minerals are worth is very important when it comes to trust, estates, estate planning. Of course, acquisition and divestiture, and resource-based lending. Oil and gas asset sale. That's also something we wanted to include, as this is something we truly enjoy. This is how Joel and I first came to work together many years ago, when oil was over $100 a barrel. And we're first thinking solely being in the professional space. However, we see all these letters coming in to our clients offering to buy minerals. And we get a lot of calls about this as well. How do you know when you receive one of these letters and you see this grand offering, what to do with it essentially? As with every other group, we see good actors, we see bad actors. How does the everyday mineral owner knows who's who? We can guide you through who you should work with and give you strategies to optimize the sale price of your asset. And of course, consulting, which is our catch-all bucket. Mineral management may not fit every portfolio. Not everyone wants mineral management, and we would be amiss if we did not recognize that. Some owners simply own small interests. They have all their documents in a box. They just want to have somebody to help them out. Can you help me make sense of what I own? I just want somebody to organize everything I have and make a quick review to see if everything looks okay. We also saw a huge need here on the surface space. We have calls like, I'm not sure if I have a spill on my property. Can you help me? And what are my rights? And what is the going rate for a pipeline easement? And somebody reached out to me about a saltwater disposal wells. What do I do from here? How do I go from here? We can be a huge value. Where we can be of a huge value is that we all come from the industry. We understand the industry and we see their perspective. We are great middlemen because we have experience on both sides. We'll be a fierce advocate for our clients when needed, but we will also be there to temper expectation when that is called for. So how do we get there? Well, I've talked a lot about what mineral and royalty owners should expect from having their minerals managed. So now we have a team of 2 petroleum engineers, oil and gas attorneys, land managers, division owner analysts, and operational managers. We have over 70 years of combined direct oil and gas experience. We all came from the oil and gas industry. We wanted to build a team mirroring that of a small and nimble oil and gas company. However, the challenge now becomes, how do we stay affordable, especially to the everyday person? Our greatest strength is the width and depth of our team, but it could have easily also become a big challenge. So how did we solve it? Solution is, of course, innovative technology. This is where Mineral Tracker comes in. With Mineral Tracker, we saw great potential. And I say potential because we saw everything it could become. It had a great foundation. It is the first software that was created by North Dakota natives and made for and based out of the Bakken. It is not a Texas company, and well, the ones who know me know how much I love Texas and Houston, but it's not a Texas company primarily concerned about the Eagle Ford or Permian and kind of made Bakken fit into their model. Mineral Tracker makes management easy. It combines land, legal, operation, and engineering. And the two major Mineral Tracker features that helps us tremendously in our day-to-day job is the revenue verification, how Mineral Tracker automates the process of verifying revenue and flag any inconsistency, and of course our virtual reservoir manager. The idea is to solve the question of how can we do more with less. So Mineral Tracker was originally very well-centric software. It was clearly made by petroleum engineers. However, it was very important to us to make Mineral Tracker a complete software, combining all aspects of managing oil and gas rights. And that includes, of course, land and legal as well, and operations and reservoir engineering. Most softwares are either or. You can clearly see when they're petroleum engineer developed or land-based. Few combines the two in a simple way that can easily be navigated and understood by the average mineral owner. The biggest benefit with Mineral Tracker is that it's a software we use ourselves. We work in it every day, and we want it to run as efficiently and precise as possible. We are, in fact, our own biggest client. So the first feature that is a game changer when it comes to effective mineral management is how Mineral Tracker compare forecasted revenue against actual revenue. As we all know, when it first come into production, we initially verify the division order, and if you agree with that interest, that is what we put in our system, and we use it as a baseline going forward. However, diligent management includes continuing to monitor that you are being paid at that interest rate. It's something I think most of us are used to doing it manually. We generally look at the interest listed on the check and we verify it against the interest we have on our books. We're looking at the idea of maybe automating this process to verify that DO interest against their check that came in. However, this is extremely complicated as no checks are created equal. No one really followed the same format, and as I'm sure most of you know, again, checks can be extremely complicated. The problem we face is that some checks may break out interest in 3 lines, and you need to know that you need to add them all together. And some companies use a tract factor. You need to multiply it up to find your interest. Also, we wanted to take into account the reported oil price of the check, the deductions, and production numbers to see if they fall within our expected range. To solve this problem, we went back to our solid revenue forecasting for each well. If we see a revenue that falls outside our expected range, it is automatically flagged for further review. This is an extremely helpful tool in ensuring proper payments to our owners. Automation is key, as manual entry and verification will eventually result in mistake. Another area that we found was crucial in helping us stay cost effective is Mineral Tracker's virtual reservoir engineer. Our engineer has created and continuously creates an analysis for each well in North Dakota. We calculate reserves, build decline curves, and determine future cash flow. To quote Joel here, he created Mineral Tracker to replace himself as the reservoir engineer. The idea is to create a tool that can help both the everyday mineral owner and large organization to budget and plan for the future using our forecasts. And we have an exciting new feature. We just went live with this on Friday. It's our brand new land module, Ownership Stakes. This brings Mineral Tracker closer to our vision of being a software that is just as useful for petroleum engineers as for land professionals. Outside management service, we see this being particularly helpful to the broker that want to easily create ownership reports, map interest, and compare these against future reserves. And a few things to come. We are finished up with creating and assigning a unique DSU identifier to every well in North Dakota. This will revolutionize how we link attractive land to a well. It will automate the process, so when you enter in a land description, Mineral Tracker will automatically tell you all wells that will link to that interest. This will be an extremely powerful tool, especially when it comes to identifying overlapping units. We also will be expanding to all major oil and gas producing states in the lower 48. And we are working on an energy link integration so that will automate revenue input and also eventually JIB statements. Finally, I want to touch a little bit on reserves-based lending. So what is reserves-based lending? Well, really quickly, it gives individuals and enterprises the ability to use future production as collateral to fund their loans. So, why did we essentially go against the tide when we see other banks exiting this space? Whether that's because of the latest downturn, the instability, volatility of the market, or the current political climate that has been less than favorable to the industry. Just as we saw a void for the mineral owners, we also saw that the industry deserves to have a bank that understands their industry, support their industry, and speak their language. Oil companies want to discuss matters with experts to save time and resolve issues as expediently as possible. But how did we get everyone on board with this? We issued our first RBL loan in October of last year. We started the review of the loan while we were still very much in the worst of it, and we issued a loan a month shy of the election. We truly believe that if you have a team of experts that knows how to properly evaluate these assets, and of course also very importantly understand the underlying property rights that you base these loans on, these loans are not necessarily riskier than any other commodity-based loans. And of course, FIBT has always been a champion and supporter of the oil and gas industry. At its core, we are still a community bank. We measure our success after how well Main Street is doing. And we believe the oil and gas industry has a huge role to play in this. By entering into this space, we are solidifying our position as your premier oil and gas bank and our long-term commitment to you and to the industry. Thank you.